Alrighty, hello everyone, welcome back to mania for Key World Cup 2025, and we're back with another match on the block right here. It's going to be Argentina versus Spain. I am Mifa, and I'll be commentating alongside Dynasky. How's it going?
It is going great, Mifa. We've got another match for you guys, this time in the losers bracket, and this one is going to be quite interesting. I feel like at a base level for both these teams, they are quite rice heavy, but surprisingly, when you think about it, Argentina got 2 breakpoints, or not breakpoints, but just points off of UK, off of Hybrid and LN, and also Spain. I think their usual game plan involves rice, but they also ended up picking stuff like LN during their match against I think Netherlands as well, or not Netherlands, someone else. But anyways, I feel like this match is going to be them tiptoeing around rice, and then whoever gets that confidence in the first couple points will really lay out the foundation for the rest of the match. What do you think, Mifa?
Yeah, I feel like some people this might be the point of contention whether or not this will go to the tiebreaker distance. You know, it's like you said, when you're banking on like some rice picks that are actually going toe to toe with each other, like from Argentina versus Spain, for example. I think both of these teams have they have clear differences in terms of picking their rice charts in this tournament, but whether or not they are confident on taking them, it's just going to be a matter of a chicken game at the end of the day on picking all the rice picks. But other skill sets like we're touching about, like long notes and hybrids, are kind of up in the air. So we kind of just by judging at the scores in both of these teams, they are particularly similar on some of the hybrids. So I'm a little bit worried about if they're gonna go with the hybrids and after they're exhausting the rice picks. It could be anywhere. It could be like, just anybody's game, really.
Yeah, I like that both teams can really maybe flex into the hybrids or even the LNs. It's like you said, a chicken game, and we're gonna get a little bit of their game plan with these picks and bans coming out. Argentina is the first to have their protect, so we're gonna see what they want. They also do get the first pick as well, and that's obviously going to be super important because you do not want to drop that first point. Yes, the map size, the map pool is a little bit bigger, so it is first to six. You do have a little bit more breathing room, but obviously you want to have as much morale as possible heading in at the start of your match.
Yeah, absolutely. I do feel like this is the one matchup that I would expect to go not just winning by like 6-1 or 6-2 or whatever. This can go even further, and maybe you can say this can go to a tiebreaker if they play their cards right and not dropping the ball in some of the picks. But we'll see if this actually pans out to be the right protection bets that I would envision for both of these teams. Really.
Yeah, and so it seems like first Protect is going to be Rice 2 from Argentina. I don't think that's really too much of a surprise when you have like superstar players like Itekmes, who pretty much is going to be expected to get at least something like a 997 on a map like this. This is a good choice.
I honestly would expect Rice 4 to be a Protect from Argentina, but that works as well. But on the other hand, Spain might be probably protecting something else rather than just Rice Mix. I would assume that it's probably along the lines of long nose, but it could be anything really.
Oh yes, and so they are going to be going for the long note coordination protect golden ray, and we're also going to see their ban. I'm not sure if they want to ban something like a hybrid, or do they want to ban a rice? What do you think?
I do think that Spain should most likely ban a hybrid, as Argentina's hybrids are relatively on the high end, on the upper echelon of most of the middle seed teams. Really, Argentina has been pretty strong in the hybrids in general. We have been shown that from like round of 32 and round of 16 picks. Argentina can hold their own on those hybrids, so you would assume Spain would probably avoiding those hybrids. Really.
Yeah, round of 32, 16, even qualifiers were, to remind everyone, they on Hybrid 1, they got 5th place, which is absolutely insane. So yes, they have been showing time and time again that they are good at hybrids. I do think that is the right play, now that I think about it. Which one do you go for, though? Maybe something like Hybrid 3, where it's the most strenuous and the toughest to have accuracy, or maybe Hybrid 1, where you kind of expect them to have a more straightforward score, more consistent on maps like that, where you think Argentina, all 3 players will have something good. But no, Spain actually going for a Rice 6 ban, it seems.
Seem like they're avoiding most of the miscellaneous tech picks or just something along those lines that you don't really want to make sure that you have chokes on your end to to get the team score just kind of downwards. But apparently, that's
Wow.
that's contradictory that we're actually been discussing about banning protection and whatever. But Argentina seems to be banning core jacks here. Kind of an odd choice, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, definitely sad about the Rice 6 ban. First of all, one of the maps that I did want to see played, but Rice 4 is quite interesting because you did outline that as maybe one of the maps that Argentina would like to protect or maybe like to play, but it seems like against Spain, maybe with the higher density in the chart, with the funkier patterns, it's just something Argentina doesn't want to deal with, just the volatility of it.
Spain's bans does make sense, but I still can't wrap around my head around why Argentina would ban Korjak like this, because they can hold their own, especially with the higher accuracy on average against most of the teams they haven't faced before. But I just don't know if this is actually the best ban for Argentina in this case.
Yeah, I mean, it is quite interesting, but I guess we'll never know how Argentina performs on that. Their first pick, oh, hold on. Their first pick is going to be Rice 3.
Is it Rice 3 or Rice 4?
Seong trying to juke us out here, but I think it's going to be Rice 3.
Is it where are they kind of mixed up whether the bands are Rice 3 or Rice 4? But apparently, okay, yeah. So it's definitely the Rice 3 pick, which is the stamina and jump strip pick. So no false alarms.
No false alarms here. Yes, this one I mean, hey, it makes sense, right? You protect your Rice too, go for the other jump stream pick. So we're gonna start off with the more stamina focused map of two.
See, my initial impression was that when they say that picking Rice 3 or Rice 4, I thought they kind of mixed in with that the bigger pool size, and the core jack is kind of moved from like Rice 3 to Rice 4 like in previous round, which is Rice 3, and now it's actually Rice 4. So I thought they actually like banning a wrong chart to pick one. So kind of makes sense when you think about it, but apparently not. So it's no harm done there.
Yeah, I thought about it too, where it's, yeah, you're right. You know, the map pool size could have maybe freaked some teams out, but no, it seems like their ban was very much so indeed the core jack pick, and this again falls in line with their thinking of that they think they're the better jump stream team. So they're gonna test it out, going a little bit slower with 240 BPM jump streams rather than their Protect's 252 BPM. But this one is quite anchor heavy. I mean, and obviously you don't have a lot of breaks on this map. It goes on for 3 minutes and 21 seconds, and really the breaks that you get are just lighter density jump streams.
Oh yeah, it's very trilly based patterns, and as opposed to like you just play most of the like sort of rolly kind of like manipulable jump streams at that. But this is different. This is a different take of you would charge jump stream. It's very outer trill heavy, and sometimes it gets thrown to like 1/5 patterns in there. So it's a consistency check more than anything.
Yeah, I think the weird switch between the 1/5 little streamy sections into back into the jump streams might catch some players out. But I mean, with how strong on Rice both teams seem, I can't imagine that anyone is gonna miss unless it's towards the end when your mental stamina is waning or your physical stamina.
Yeah, we're gonna be here a little while here since it runs on a pretty long one too. So you would hope to see more drops coming out at the other end too if you want to have a shot on winning this.
And the patterns are quite light at the moment, but you can really see those one-hand trills that you outlined for this map. They will crop up time and time again, and when we get into the chorus with the greater density, that's going to be proving the real challenge for both of these teams. At a standstill though, Argentina with combo cap on everyone, and about a third way into the map, right before the chorus, we do see them with a small lead of about 2,000 points.
Yeah, around 2,000 points. Actually, it's kind of staying around there somewhere, as Spain has all-around average about 99.87, with the lowest being 99.85, but it's apparently still not higher than the lowest on the Argentina side, which is 99.89 by Agus Gex right here. The other two main players in the Argentina are the main carries here at the moment.
Exactly, Tekmes and Seong, two people that you really do expect to be strong anchors for Argentina on any Rice pick. Both of them beating out all three players on Spain by quite the margin. Abril is trying to do their best to catch up, but with the lead now at 3,000 points, it seems like as time goes on, Spain is just having a little bit of trouble on accuracy. We are at this more streamy section that you had mentioned at the start of the map, and a lot of 300s, some 200s dropped by Nico plays, so quite a rough beginning.
Tech mess. That's the first drop on Argentina's side. Now the lead is going to shift towards Spain, but not by very much, since the accuracy is still favoring Argentina's side right here. Agus gets now to a 99.9 here, beating out almost everyone except for Avril.
And with about 3,000 points now on their side, even though Tekmes is back on the combo cap, I don't think there's enough time unless Spain takes a lot of 200s or just outright misses. So again, last section, you have that physical stamina draining for about 3 minutes now in the burner. You have that mental stamina draining, and the one-hand trills really don't stop the weird anchors in the inside columns. And this is going to be down to the wire.
It is down to the wire, indeed. It's like just around that score difference. Actually, it's now closing down a little bit there. we're actually in the last stretch now. Like we're around less than 1,000, I would say. I'd wager April has some couple 200s on their side too. I'm not sure. Yeah, that is it. That is Spain's break point right off the bat. What a start to this match too.
Crazy beginnings. Unfortunate miss by Attack Mess leads to Spain wiping it by 1,500 points. Not an unexpected break point, but I did not expect Attack Miss to miss like that. And it's so weird to think that a 995 average from Spain isn't gonna cut it against Argentina if they full combo on possibly their protect. So they've got to watch out when
Yeah.
they pick Endro.
Yeah, the apparently it almost worked for Argentina to get that to a point that accuracy is gonna be the main key strengths right here. But Spain is opting to go for the longer density pick right here. This would be a decent pick just to test the waters if Argentina's long nose can hold up on their own against them.
Yeah, I mean, Spain seems like they are just going for the Ellen game plan. And I kind of like this because, as we've seen, Spain's able to just take points on Rice if Argentina's having bad days. So definitely, Spain is a good Rice team, but when relative to the other team, you're a really good LN team, you might as well go for the picks that make sense. So starting off with the density, like you said, it's a good first pick. It's a good pick where you can just dip your toes into the water, and if you end up beating Argentina by a wide margin, you can really just flex into any other LN pick. Because as a reminder, Argentina did ban Rice 4, so there is 4 LNs available for Spain, and if they really feel like it, there's 3 hybrids. Maybe not all of them are well catered to Spain in the sense that there's a lot of LNs. Bison Charge does come to mind. However, Spain has what I think is a lot of good picks if this set goes the distance, and Argentina just seemingly will run out of Rice picks just because of the double ban. It really does hurt them.
Oh yeah, it could have you could have questioned a little bit more about the ban from Argentina there, but if they are seemingly uncomfortable with them, then I guess that's understandable in some ways. But I think they could have been better bans for that to be better utilized for that. But with Spain having to giving you the option to pick a longer density pick, I would assume that this would be a decent one at that. But it rather depends because given the difficulty is higher every time because of the pool. You never know.
Yeah, and I really feel like with this category in specific, this is the one category in LN where you have a large BPM jump from last round. So I think that, it is a UA's density map, so it's very like the one from last week. But it really just feels like that bump in BPM can destroy the third man on the teams that are weaker on LNs, and maybe even the second man, the second best performer on some teams. So at around that quarterfinals level is where you'd expect a lot of teams, lower seeded teams, to fall off in LN by a wide margin, and we're gonna have to see if this happens here for Argentina.
Yeah, and as we see that there's a couple swaps here, like we see Hakitsu instead of Itakmes, and I believe Victor also switched out for Nico plays as well for Spain. So, given their third man, their third player for their respective teams, should be able to handle these on their own.
Very, very light start. Couple of weirder inverse jacks, but now we really get into the meat of the map. And once it started up, you saw that scoreline kind of buffer in for Spain, 3,000 points, and that's really off of the back of Hakitsu having not the best time on this map. A lot of early releases, a lot of late releases from them. 4,000 points for Spain. And break section here, we get to see that Argentina not having the best time on all 3 players.
Yeah, it seems like Hakitsu's hit error is kind of all over the place, like you mentioned about the late releases, and I guess overholding them or just like letting go way too early than you would see. But Abel is the first one to miss on Spain's side, although that is very minor because the accuracy is very, very clean.
Super clean drop from April. As you know, when someone drops, you really expect the scoreline, that blue bar, to go down by a large margin. It didn't at all. In fact, it's increasing as we speak. As I mean, you just see it here, Argentina, no one above a 99.7, and although Spain only has one person above there, Seong is already matched by the second performer of April and almost by Victor. So Map's gonna try to close out now. We're at 3,000 combo for everyone, and although Aguskex and Hakitu are trying to hold on as much as possible, 15,000 points for Spain is just too much of a burden to bear.
Yeah, this is a very good average scores there by Spain here, just around all around 99.6, and even some eclipsing above there, like email like 99.77. It just beats out everyone on Argentina's side there. Well fought for Argentina for getting this just around 2 full combos. Even Hakitsu just trailing around with the full combo on their stead, but the accuracy is just far too much to handle, and this seems like to be Spain's second point. It's now 2-0 on their side.
And quite the team score from Spain. Unfortunate miss from Everil, but it was straight out by Aguskex, and you do see the complete act difference on both sides. Spain should be pretty confident going into any of the other LN maps, like I had predicted earlier on, and Argentina left scrambling as they are down 0-2, but they do have this next pick. So where in the right section do they want to go?
It's kind of a wonder why Spain banning Long Note 1 because I believe they would have been completely fine with it. Honestly.
Yeah,
Or
I mean,
actually maybe
probably.
yeah, I guess Long Note 1 would have been considered there, but uh I guess it's a different kind as well because it's Long Note coordination one. Why is it that?
Yeah, I do have to agree with that. And Argentina, I mean, let's see what's left. Rice 1, 2, and 5, and 7. So, oh, but no, they're actually going to launch into the hybrid picks instead. Yes, this is the kind of not, I wouldn't say off-brand, but rather the picks that they have up their sleeves for Argentina, where, you know, they still have to protect, and you saw how they perform on more straightforward picks like that. But, you know, in these middle maps, the ones where they try to find any point they can along the line, Hybrid 2 seems like a really good choice.
Yeah, I believe this is the best. This is the best of the hybrid picks that Argentina can do on because of the other than Bison Charge and Cherry Blossom, I think this is the least dense about out of all three hybrids. But it plays like just like a shield pick in most cases, and you just transition in and out of it. It's the only tough thing to do in a tournament setting, and I think Argentina can handle them at most since if they can outact in regards to having minimizing 200 count, I think this is the good pick for Argentina to capitalize on Spain.
Yeah, I do quite like this pick as well. As you said, it is the Shili hybrid slot in this tournament, and you know, the Ellen around it can be quite difficult, especially on Kinetic Flux, and especially the Broken Jack section in the middle of this map, to talk about that as well. But Argentina should have pretty good accuracy considering how much of the rice elements are present, even when you do have to account for kind of the LNs.
Also, this time we're gonna have Nubo in for Argentina, so we have a little bit of a taste of the full roster, almost a full roster for Argentina. We have seen Tech we also seen some couple players in action as well from Spain. So it's good to have a full roster for this type of stuff.
Yeah, it really shows how these teams do have, a very solid core, but also have players that can work around it. And we do, as you said, Numbo is in. We do get to see a little bit of the hidden god come into play, and very like Jax in the beginning, nothing too much, and really the main bulk of it, as you said, are the shields, and how can they deal with them, we'll just have to see. Victor, though, it
Oh,
seems doesn't like them as well as the others.
the only good thing about that break is that it's still before the 400 combo cap right here.
We go into more of these nastier Jax into shieldier LN sections, and these ones are quite tough. It seems like Nubbo isn't having the
Ooh,
best time. Seyoung even dropping a couple of 200s, so big swing for Spain. I don't know if it's gonna be enough. I think it will be able. Spain's gonna be able to have the slightest of leads, but accuracies aren't looking too well. And
oh,
Victor drops yet again and again. So 2 drops for Spain. Victor
three.
cannot find their footing on this map.
Yeah, just actually Nubo trading him back and forth actually with Victor here. It really just comes down with the third player is on the respective teams here. And even then, Spain's overall carries are much better than just the other two carries from Argentina here. Even, yeah, I was gonna say April is gonna actually tank a lot, but now, apparently had a miss now. So now the leads go ballooning out to Argentina for just around the majority of it now. And
And
no full combos
oh
on Spain.
no. Full combo wipe from the side of Spain. It was back and forth. It was close. There were a lot of trades, but as we pass the halfway mark into the map, Argentina finally has such a solid grip onto this lead. And August Gex Seyoung doing their best. They don't have as well of a ooh big
Oh
drop from
no!
Seyoung. So now August Gex the only FC. They don't have the accuracy, especially when you account for Ime and Abril. But man, they have the combo 100%.
Yeah, but they're not out of the woods yet. Apparently now the lead is now cut down. It's not no longer 5-digit anymore. Agasgex tanking here a little bit, but he's still holding the full combo. And even then, Nubo and Victor still trading back and forth. But I guess the accuracy is now on Spain's side. If all things, if you take into account the misses there, it's just very clean, and Spain has the overall accuracy to boot here.
Yeah, it's just Victor takes all of these repeated drops, and that's really hurting Spain's score. It seems like every time Victor finds some semblance of a combo, he drops yet again, and unfortunately, because of that, Argentina is just going to strong hand their way into the lead and take this map by the force of combo gaming. So Argentina finally fighting their footing into the match and getting their first point. They finally break through, and it's now 1-2.
What a fantastic score here. Full combo by Aguskek is basically what keeps Argentina intact on the lead here. It could have been 3 FCs if you take into account, actually 4 if you take into account with Abel, Ime, and Seon did not miss anywhere there, because otherwise that would be a shame, because those scores could easily beat out most players in the tournament.
Exactly. And man, Argentina should be feeling pretty confident, all things considered, after a map like that. They sense a third man weakness in the hybrid section for Spain, and I think they can pounce on, like you said, something like Bison Charge afterwards if they don't want to pick Rice 2. But for now, Spain is going to delve into LN1. They have an abundance of LN maps left to pick, and that is going to be their weapon of choice.
This is apparently just around I guess the same length as the hybrid though, but this one feels a little bit too long than, because of the song itself isn't particularly all that engaging, so it might play out longer than it should have been. So this might be just another consistency check. Like Spain could have this in the back, but it's kind of a slog, honestly. Although it's not in a negative way, but it's still very kind of a snooze fest, and it's not very varied in terms of patterning.
Yeah, I mean, this one and I believe LN4 are both over 3 minutes. And I think that's a good thing for Spain that the LN maps are a lot longer because as a map is more, uh, has more time to it and the difficulty is very consistent, teams that are better on LN should be able to hold up any comebacks or anything like that as the margin for error is a bit wider with a more consistent test. So kind of think of it like, there's more consistency with a longer length in a pick. So Spain, again, they won by such a large amount on LN2 that I don't think they should be worried about anything really at all. But if it comes down to it, I mean, I think the coordination should be able to save them. I mean, Victor couldn't really coordinate on the hybrid pick, but this is a different beast.
Yeah, but it's a different skill set to approach
Yeah,
it.
exactly.
It's not very shieldy. It's just release heavy. If you don't want to take into account that shield doesn't really require that muscle memory to time their releases, this is very blatantly almost release heavy.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's some weirder, Ellen Jacks at play, but you are correct where it's, a lot of the coordination is based around the releases on this map. And I think we have everyone ready for this. Number is staying in. We got Seang Agus Gex. As for Spain, I believe the same squadron for them as well. So all six players loaded in for LN1. Spain trying to get this third point, trying to run away with the match early and deny Argentina any any inklings of a comeback.
Yeah, can they make it 3-1 here would be the question. Although not a very good start there for April there, already missing at the intro, but apparently is still in well, two misses now at the intro. That's not looking very good here.
Not a great start from Gabriel. Unfortunate from them. However, as I said, this is a long map. As you get back up to the combo cap, the accuracy is really where you're going to be able to shine through. And with the coordination, you kind of expect Argentina to flutter just a little bit in terms of accuracy, especially in the more dense sections. So Ime doing really well, top scorer on this map so far. And as April tries to get their accuracy back up from those two misses and August Gex takes
Ooh.
a miss, we're gonna see Spain, the map's gonna go on and I feel like they're probably going to take the lead back very soon.
Yeah, Seo there with that Seo miss right there. It's gonna tip over the Spain here. Now the misses from accuracy can Seo it matters a lot more because it's now after the 400 combo cap. But it's still rather eerily close, apparently, because Victor actually dropping a little bit now to below 99.6. It's dropping below Agus's accuracy, but Agus had a miss, and Seong missed once again, so Spain's gonna have a little bit of a cushion to work with.
And what a cushion it is. Yes, another miss from Seong means that Spain is going to have a lot more breathing room than earlier. The very light section as we're halfway into the map. But as we see it, I mean, Ime and Victor, very good FCs from them. Nobo is actually
Oh,
surprisingly doing very well, but Victor actually drops that FC as I say it. So now 1-1 in terms of FCs, but for that second and third man, it seems like accuracy is on the side of Spain.
now this is where it gets dangerous because Agus is recovering quite nicely with the accuracy. He's now beating Abel and Victor in most cases, but Ime and Nubo is basically just handling a one singular threat, and the score difference is just barely above 5,000 here.
Another light section, and you are right, uh, they Argentina kind of does have that combo, but it doesn't really matter now as Victor's back up to the combo cap. So Spain's gonna need to miss again for Argentina to try to make anything happen. But with how well Ime and Abril have been doing, I mean Abril since the start has been doing, it feels like Spain's probably poised to take this one. Very, very dense section with a lot of
Yeah.
your releases, and unfortunately, I guess Gex is going to take quite possibly the final drop in the map. And it was a lot closer than LN2, but at the end of the day, Spain just does seem like the stronger LN team by a decent margin. I mean, 13,000 points is nothing to snuff at. So, 3-1 for Spain.
Bit of a sketchy one at that too, because the only misses to take into account from is just from April with two misses at the intro, and then the middle one, which is from Victor's side. So at the end there, it's a very good performance there, handling toe to toe with Nubo and Ime with their own FCs here, but Ime just barely missing the view on the less as well apparently.
Yeah, that is a crazy score. 9-9, 1.6 on the quarterfinals. Coordination is quite insane. And so Spain, well deserved win from them. Argentina back up to pick. Do they want to finally go for the protect? Do they want to hold it off for their potential last pick? They have, hybrid one. They have a couple of other rise picks that they might want to do. But if they end up losing this one, they will only have potentially one last pick. So this is quite an important one to think about.
My eyes are currently glued to Toki or Rice 7 because I love that pick, but I also hate it. But then I gradually hate it more, but then I also started to love it because that kind of pick is really what accentuates how crazy mind blockable and choke heavy those patterns are.
Yeah, I think that would be a very not off kilter pick, but just one that it's kind of like in the middle of the list in terms of what I choose at the top for Argentina right now. I mean, you still have Rice 2, you know, probably the best pick that they can go for right now. And then I'd assume they'd be good at Rice 1. And
Okay,
yeah,
they
actually, no,
rush
they,
what
they,
it is.
they do pick Rice 1. So, you know, at, they got Rice 3 by a very good margin. And, well, actually, no, they didn't get Rice 3. They lost by a small margin because one missed. But, their accuracies
Yeah.
were the wide margin in that map.
This is also the pick that is kind of dangerous as well because if you're rushing one of them, you're gonna end up that one matchup where there's one player that are just completely lost immediately and you lost a drop a whole percent out of the one stream. And this is kind of that pick right now because this at this BPM it's just particularly fast, and there's not much room to recover from if you get lost immediately.
Yeah, I mean, not a lot of room to breathe for on this map, and the the BPM bump has been quite solid on a map like this. We are getting up to 336 BPM single streams, and it's very very similar to last week's map, the Sonic map, but it's just you know the absolute speed of it can trouble some of the weaker players when it comes to streams. And I do think everyone can play jump stream, and everyone has shown how good they are on Argentina and Spain. For Spain, they did end up winning with a 995 average. Argentina probably would have averaged something like 996 and a half. So stream's a little bit of a different beast, but I don't know if they have like a very strong third player on each side for this to get where the bare minimum is probably something like 994, 995. I don't know. It really comes down to the third man, I think, for a map like this.
Oh yeah, especially with the patterns by itself are not that much of an issue. I guess the snapping is not it's not straight up 1.8. I feel it's not just straight up 336 BPM equivalent of
Yeah.
streams. It might be some being thrown some a little bit of a mini anchor at some point. So it I guess it's kind of varied in that way.
Yeah, I think mostly on the verse sections are where you get the variations in snaps, but when you really get to the main meat of it, they are kind of sustained 336 BPM streams. The thing about this map is that it's not always sustained, and the patterning is pretty light overall. So, it's really just you gotta look out for where it's the most dense.
Looks like it's synced up properly, so hopefully no other issues other than the late start, I guess, or not. Maybe we'll see.
Bancho's having not the best of times. They've been working very hard for this entire tournament. Sometimes you gotta let them have a little break, and no breaks on either team as we get into, or I guess out of that first vocal section.
Yeah, this is where it gets the pattern is it's a little bit sketchy at first because if you rush, then you're rushed completely on one of them. Apparently, Hakitsu does actually break up a little bit on accuracy, but Seiyong there with the first miss.
Yeah, very, very big drop from Seiyong. Unfortunately, it seems like they're not having the best time. And Hakitsu also taking a break as well. So 2 misses on the side of Argentina means that Spain is going to be very comfortable. I mean, 20,000 points, but Ime, unfortunate. And in such a light section 2 is just not what you want to see. Argentina, though, has a chance for a comeback. I mean, there's not a lot of time left. It's a very short map, but can something happen on either Victor or Abel? Can Ime miss again? And Argentina might be able to make it and make this comeback.
Yeah, time is running out here, and apparently Spain has still has a 5-digit lead after Ime missed there. And Seiyong recovered quite nicely after that miss here, but apparently the time is running very, very short here. It's just these streams left here. And Seiyong with another miss on the side, and apparently Hakisu probably already submitted the score, I would assume, because of the late start in the bancho here.
Yeah, we're gonna have to check the MP link for that. Yep, Hakitsu's gonna finish with a 984, and Spain is going to win by the margin of 18,000 points. So big win for Spain. I mean, that's yet another breakpoint on the right section, destroying Argentina's confidence on something like that. And Spain, you're up to pick next. You have LN3, you have LN4. You've been performing so well on maps like that. Your only loss has been on Hybrid 2. So where do they want to go? I mean, is it LN3 or LN4, Mifa? Really is the question.
Well, the only way to go is one of those 2 picks that you mentioned. Yeah, I would say maybe along the 4 or fake. I guess it's on a similar whim as the LN1, just a little bit more diverse.
Yeah, I love that from you. I think fake is probably the play where it's the same as LN1, where you saw Argentina struggle a lot in terms of how the releases went. A lot of 200s from a couple of players on their side, and Spain can really capitalize on something like that on fake, just from the sheer weirdness and abnormality in the releases on a map like that. I mean, it's Scotty LN, right? So you got to go into it expecting what Scotty does best.
I would be I mean, they would be out of their mind if they pick anything. If they pick anything that Long does at this point. Apparently, yeah. There you go with the fake.
So Ime launching missile known as LN4, and Spain trying to get to that match point off the back of their own pick. I think it's a very good shot. I mean, we've seen very dominant wins on both the LNs so far. The density map won by 28,000 points. Coordination map won by 13,000 points. And, I think this is comfortable for Spain. Not guaranteed, but when you look at how both of these teams have been performing on the map so far, at least for the LN section, Ime, Abril, and Victor are very much a strong roster for Spain to field for LN, and especially Ime and Abril in particular. They have been putting up some crazy numbers.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I do feel that I think Ime in particular has been particularly great, I guess, for longer.
Yeah, I think the top performer on both LN maps so far. So that's going to be expected from them again, as the bar is raised, and on a map like this, I'm not expecting, you know, triple 990s really from either team. That's going to be a hard feat for a lot of teams in the tournament on Fate. But what I do expect is to try to minimize your 200s as much as possible. And in terms of that, I do think that's where Spain's going to find the little advantages and where they're going to build up their score differential.
Apparently, Argentina's missing one other player on their roster. Apparently, it's Catalepsia, so probably gonna be joining in the lobby. Seems like.
Yeah, and like you said, I think we've seen pretty much everyone from Argentina at this point. If Catalepsia is to come in for this, Spain still gonna stick with their Ime Abril Victor core, but Argentina gonna try something new.
Yeah, it's no longer Hakitsu playing for Longos this time. Maybe another player would be kind of the problem fixer here, most likely.
Yeah, I mean, Argentina in a little bit of trouble getting Catalepsia X in here. I think mostly know them as a Rice player for Argentina. At least, in a qualifier standpoint, I think they only played some of the Rice maps. But, I mean, with how weird Fake is and how Argentina have been kind of struggling to find, a solid third player for the LN map, I think this could be a good change for them. And who knows, maybe Catalepsia is very good on these weirder, more funkier vocal dump LNs.
Yeah, this would be their one and only chance that Argentina could take a break point out of this, because otherwise, if this wasn't taken by Argentina, then Spain would have the match point on their hands here. So this is a very crucial one to win for Argentina here, and with the disadvantage of having 3 points down, it's gonna be probably affecting them mentally.
Yeah, you do have to think about that mental factor. I mean, Argentina just swiped at every single junction except for Hybrid 2, where they lost their first pick, didn't go too well, and then they just lost the stream pick by a large margin, have been beaten out by the LNs in a large margin. If you're one of the Argentina players playing on this map right now, you might not have a lot of confidence, and that could result in you not playing as well. On the other hand, Spain should feel pretty good overall.
Yeah, we'll see if this pick ends up really being decent for Spain, because this is their one of the two last picks of the LMs remaining here. The only thing left is just Planet Shaper, and that is if Argentina wins their next pick.
Exactly. And maps starting out, it seems like Spain does have better accuracies overall, and the intro is pretty much akin to what you'll see in the rest of the map. Maybe the density is higher in the chorus, but just looking at how Ime and Abril have 99.7s and no one on Argentina is even close to touching something like that. Yes, Abril is going to drop, but does it really mean too much unless it's very sustained drops from Spain?
It could have some little bit of a consequence here, but April seems to just a bit around actually beating out Nubo's accuracy, so that might actually not going to change very much here. Oh, Victor actually with the second miss on the Spain side, and Argentina still has all 3 full combos, but accuracy is still down by quite a lot actually, on average by like 99.3, but now Seong here is the first one to miss on Argentina's side.
Yeah, and another miss from them as well, so finally that lead ballooning up from Spain. They had the accuracy to build up enough where their misses didn't mean as much, but now with Argentina finally having these drops in Seong yet again, now we see that Spain really does have that strong lead that we were expecting from them.
Yeah, we're at a point that actually now a couple of misses from Spain's side would change too much in the lead because their accuracy are much better in terms of average.
And things revving up once again in the map. We do see, a couple jacks, but then you have the Ellen patterns, and we're gonna finally get into the pre-chorus for the second half. Abril doing pretty well after that first drop. Same with Victor as well. Ime is still holding onto the FC. It's them and Catalepsia Nubbo. So 2 FCs on the side of Argentina, but the thing is, the accuracy is just too much. Ime finally drops no more
Ime!
FCs for Spain.
Ime is down now. It's just only 2 FCs remaining intact here for Argentina, but that accuracy is still far below here, even in the standards of Spain's accuracy on an average here. It's going to take much more misses, but apparently not on the Spain side. It's actually on Seong's side, on Argentina here. Now the lead's going to balloon up a little bit more than they used to be.
Oh man, and as the map ends, Spain a couple of bumps in the road in terms of combo, but you cannot deny the accuracy that they put up time and time again on maps like this. Even with all of those misses, 2 players still finishing at around 99.6, beating out Argentina by a wide margin. And yes, Nubbo and Catalepsia did really well to hold combo, but just not enough. And Spain now at match point. Argentina, time to pick their poison, and the poison will be Rice to their protect.
Yeah, this is the only thing that I would expect from Argentina here. Andro being the jump stream, the faster jump stream pick that I would say even is the only thing that is gonna come and cutting close here against Spain. And Argentina does have accuracy on the Rice picks in general, but the thing is that they have been choking for almost all the maps here, seems most like. So it just comes down to whether or not they are just not missing anywhere.
That is quite true. I do think that at least on the last jump street pick, technically the first pick of the match, Romanesque Romancia, Argentina did choke it. They were poised to win by a good margin. And on the other Rice pick of It's Going Down Now, Rice won that stream pick that we saw 2 maps ago. I think, Argentina would have lost if everyone were to FC the map. So kind of that in between where, yes, it's a bit faster than that first jump stream pick, but obviously a lot slower than the streams pick. Gonna have to see how the physicality bump bodes for both of these teams.
It seems we're probably just most likely waiting for, I guess, third players coming in. It seems like Ime's not playing this time around. It's now actually going to be Nico's back in, and April, for, I guess, probably the first time we've seen playing Rice picks in general. Because we've seen Ime and Nico play alongside each other, but not the combination of the two.
Yeah, not pretty interesting lineup. I don't think we saw Victor on the first Rice map. They did play the streams map, but yeah, they didn't play Romanesque Romancia. So it's a different vision from what we've seen before from Spain. But for Argentina, we're gonna see Seong, Catalepsia, and Tekmes. So Catalepsia are gonna be in for their second straight map, and it's gonna be on their protect as well. So maybe it's kind of that secret weapon for Argentina. Yes, you do expect very good scores from Seon and Tekmes, but how does Catalepsia fare on a map like Endro?
Yeah, I would expect Catalepsia should do fairly well on their own, given their Rice scores. Their Rice picks in particular have very good scores here. Just just minimal chokes here and there, other than the fact that maybe there are a couple 200s here and there. But this pick is mainly just jump stream at a faster pace too.
Yeah, very, very fast pace. Um, this one is, you know, 252 BPM, and I think it's still pretty long. It's 2.5 minutes. It's not really sustained this entire time. You have sections like this where it's just kind of jacks in the in-betweens, but it's definitely, obviously the speed of it is what matters the most.
And apparently still neck and neck, apparently. It's just accuracy on average is like around 99.9 here, even in this first quarter in. The only thing is that like the lowest being like 99.88 on the side Nico plays here. Oh, actually dropping 200s there, apparently.
Yeah, a couple of these weirder bursts maybe catching some of these players out, and actually Victor not doing super well with that transition out either. So Argentina actually going to have a meaty lead a third of the way into the map. And as we see, Nico plays actually dropping quite a decent a bit from the start of the map. All players on Argentina at 99.9 plus Victor dropping again means that Argentina, crazy lead for them halfway in.
Yeah, this is just now like a 5-digit lead. So at things here, yeah, I was gonna say that April is the all having a very high accuracy, but now tanking with another miss as well. So it's only 3 FCs against 1. And ultimately, I think this is a very solid lead overall. They can afford to have a 1 or 2 misses here from Argentina side.
Yeah, 1 or 2 is maybe lowballing it by quite a bit. I mean, 30,000 points and a fourth of the map left, and you've seen how comfortable all these players on Argentina are. Victor just seems to find a drop anytime they get some semblance of a combo, and with Abril dropping as well, the only FC being on Nico plays, it's going to be tough to make a comeback. I mean, with Abril dropping yet again, that lead extends to about 35,000 points. Map is trying to close out, and finally we see some life from Argentina. Big dominant win.
A miss there.
2 misses from Attack Mess to kind of sully the score, and another miss to sully the score from Calypso. But you can't deny this is a very insane team score from Argentina, all hiccups included.
Yeah, this is the only one that is the V1SS here. This is a much needed crucial win there for Argentina, because otherwise it would have been spelled their doom here. But they still 3 points down. Spain has that one last long note pick to make, and I think it's gonna be that, or they're gonna have to pick anything else that if they are not comfortable with that last long note pick.
Yeah, I can't really envision them picking something like Hybrid 3 at the moment. It just feels a little bit too risky knowing how that map is. But LN3, however, feels really good, in my mind at least. And
there you go.
They're gonna bite the bullet. I mean, they've done so well on LNs where they've probably won by something like a 20,000 point average across all 3 maps so far. So, I mean, while the hand is hot, might as well finish out the slots, and Spain completing the LN quadfecta by picking LN3.
While this is the most sensible pick to make, if you are this huge at this huge advantage from Spain, this is where it gets dangerous, because this is the one of the easier long note picks to act. And Argentina has been shown through and through that they have been quite fondly quite solid on the straightforward long note picks. It's just a matter of fact that if they can able to overtake the accuracy and not missing so much, this might actually be in Argentina's favor.
And I can totally see that, considering as this is most akin to the hybrid that Argentina won, which is very, very important. A lot of this map's difficulty features shields. And what had happened on Hybrid 2 was that Victor just had, I think, 8 total misses or something like that on the shields, and that was through and throughout the map. Repeated misses, very spaced out, very even, and that led to Spain losing by quite the margin on Hybrid 2. So Yes, it is a long known map, but when you take into account the shieldy nature of it, you have to wonder if Argentina don't feel too doomed on this. There is a reason why Spain chose this last, and maybe we'll see those reasons come to fruition on this map as Avril and Victor really do need to hold on to the combo.
Bear in mind, Argentina has to win 3 straight picks, and they have to make a break point out of this, and then win the next 2. This is a crucial one for Argentina. Otherwise, they are being knocked out of the tournament if this doesn't work.
Yep, tournament life on the line for Argentina here as we finally get into it. Planet Shaper, but in the form of LNs. Spain trying to close this out, trying to not let Argentina take any more points. And Argentina doing well so far. We're going to have to see how the rest of the map pans out.
There's a lot of 200s from Seyoung's side apparently, and Nubo is actually tanking now. Seyoung's now dropped to like 99 already, even with the first miss.
Yeah, pretty rough going for Seyoung. Going to take another miss yet again, so actually dropping below 99%. Not a sight that you see too often, but the struggle is there. Spain going to have a very big lead. Third way into the map, 20,000 points, and more shields coming through. Seyoung not being able to hang.
Yeah, this is where it now actually a comfortable lead. Although Victor, oh my god, that's a very dirty chain of sequence of misses there. Now dropping just almost under Seyoung here, but Seyoung already missed now. But Nubo is now the second person to drop here on the Argentinian side.
And so with Gex unfortunately missing in Seyoung yet again. No more combo on the side of Argentina. They're left picking up the pieces. 2 more misses from each player. And Ime and Abril, we talked about them being kind of those superstars players on LN for Spain. And superstars they are as they flex their FCs at the moment. Spain having the biggest lead that we've seen. Gex missing yet again. Just Argentina not having the best of time on these shields. And Spain, it feels like they're going to take it.
Yeah, this wraps up the last song here. The last song for Argentina. Very well fought there to the end of this match here, but unfortunately, this is going to be their swan song there for Argentina, and they're going to have to say goodbye for this iteration of this World Cup. On 4Keys 2025, Spain, we're going to have to face their next opponent here for the quarterfinals.
Yeah, and very well played as the song dies down. Very, very good match from the both of them. Argentina trying their best, but unfortunately falling flat in the end through the LN dominance of Spain, plus a couple of break points. And so Spain is going to take it. Seed number 15. They are moving on in the losers bracket to fight the winner of Peru versus the Netherlands, which coincidentally is actually going to be the next match in about 30 minutes here if we look at the schedule. But that is very much so a GG well played. Argentina in this tournament, very crazy. The fact that they started off with a big upset 5-1 versus 12-seeded Japan, they should be proud of this tournament in general.
Yeah, that is on their own highlight apparently. So, I guess that even then, Argentina has their own hype moments about that particular match. I think when I commentated with Potassium with that particular match against Japan, it was that one particular moment that I feel Argentina has a much bigger chance to win on. I guess even advancing through further rounds, but they eventually got shut down there by Spain, which is apparently the more dominant team for this particular matchup. And Okay, yeah, Spain has gonna have to win their next match in order to get advanced to the semifinals, but they're gonna have to be waiting for the next opponent here.
Yeah, we're gonna give you guys about a 30-minute break. I'm gonna take this break because I'm a bit, I have a bit of a hangover. But Mifa, you know what you can hang over your profile to give it a little bit more of a pop? Banners. Yeah, do
Hey,
you want
yeah,
to
there you
tell us
go.
about that?
Yeah, absolutely. Then, if you do not know that banners are now available on the OSU store right now, so apparently you can go check to the OSU store and you can see there are those lovely team banners there. Apparently all 32 of them, if you would like to recall all these 32 teams that are competing up until the knockout stages here. So, if you can purchase those banners, team banners here, you can even hang it on their profile, and even you can stack them, and you can purchase multiple banners at the same time as well. So your profile picture is gonna look like something like along the lines of like Star Wars kind of thing, 32 T's that are you can keep scrolling down to maybe annoy annoy your friends or something along those lines, and you can even keep that team banner if your favorite team happens to win in this iteration of 4K World Cup. So it's a really good thing to have, especially with those bragging rights and here now and then. So yeah, support your favorite teams and support as well for the funding the prize pool as well.
Exactly. Support your team, support all of your favorite teams, support one of your favorite teams multiple times, or multiple of your favorite teams multiple times. It costs less than a month of supporter, and it helps out not only to show off that you support your teams, but rather it helps out the tournament scene as well in general, supports the game you love. So very much so, check out the banners if you can. But I mean, as I said, that's gotta do it for us for now. We hope you guys enjoyed this match. In 25 minutes, we're gonna get another loser bracket match in Peru versus Netherlands. So sit tight till then, and we'll catch you in the next one.
Yeah, this has been Mifa and Dynascape. We'll be signing off.
喉を締め付け乾いた季節思いにふける通りに浮かぶ思い出の雪再会を予期してた Last sweet memory 待つことに慣れすぎて痛みさえ感じないの麻痺してるこだめてる刺激高い女また求めてる視界ゼロの中あなたと繋いだ手のぬくもりが恋しくてどうもどっと降り積もる雪にそこでは伸ばして白闇を愛せるよりマイナスの世界で踊り続ける遠く意識に悪魔が手招きホワイトアウトお揃いだった頃の顔に捨てられすぎる黒のコーポも頭の中ももう真っ白で愛にしもういくの愛にし伝えたいあなた好みの服を着てあなた好みの趣味始めてあなた好みの日常で溢れているかなさよなら言わないで視界ゼロの中あなたと繋いだ手のぬくもりが恋しくてとうとうと降り積もる雪にその手を伸ばして白闇を愛せるよりマイナスの世界で踊り続ける一度の望みもかき消すノイズとそうなった意識に悪魔が手招きホワイトアウト 自分じゃ見せ物
Welcome back to MWC 4Key 2025, where this is going to be the last match of today's block. We have Peru versus Netherlands, two very close seeded teams, C20 and 23 respectively. And honestly, we're in for a very good one today. We're going to be eating good tonight because both these teams, when looking at how last round stats went, both of them picked into the same things. Both of them got very much so similar seedings on the same maps. This is going to be an unpredictable one. Yet again, as always, I'm hoping for a tiebreaker. And of course, I can't be casting this alone, so I am joined by the one, the only, Nightcore. Nightcore, how are you doing?
I am doing fabulous, Eliminate. And as you were saying, what a match we have. Peru versus Netherlands. Just pretty much putting on their boxing gloves. Going to be duking it out in this very interesting quarterfinals match. Again, this is losers bracket, so one team will be getting the final punch on the other. And just looking at these seedings as well, looks like they both have a really good record. So we'll have to see how both these teams perform. Strap in, folks. It's going to be a good one.
Peru did have somewhat of an outlier performance on the hybrid one, though this is something I've actually noticed on quite a few teams. Actually, the hybrid one, a lot of teams doing much better on than any of the other hybrids or LNs, and Peru managing to get seed 4 on that. Whereas, yeah, here we go, getting into the bans. Peru actually banning LN3. I think Netherlands probably, you know, as we said though, they're kind of going to be playing into the same thing, so Netherlands, they probably could ban anything, but judging by the hybrid 1 performance, maybe a hybrid 1 ban, but to be honest, it's so well versed, so whatever they're not comfortable on, really.
Yeah, both teams definitely have the tools in their shed to pretty much play anything. But now, of course, when we're at quarterfinal, we're going to be matching around the difficulty of the qualifiers. So, going to be quite a step up for both teams, and to see how they do transition from the early game into the mid game, where that physicality will become more intact as well.
Wait, was LN3 the protect by Peru? I think the. Oh, no, okay, sorry, my bad. I was getting too ahead of myself. I forgot we have protect. Okay, LN3 to protect from Peru, Race the protect from Netherlands. So maybe Netherlands going to be playing more into Race this match, Peru more into LN. But if things don't go their way, I wouldn't be surprised to see things maybe switch up at any point in this match.
I think Netherlands just might be more comfortable with Rice. Of course, you do have some players there like Shoyer and Toxic Scent who are pretty much well able to keep up with anything. So I think maybe just not really wanting to risk LN or hybrid against Peru. And yeah, going in for the LN4 ban as well. Going to be banning, I do believe, for LN dump pick, which does make sense as well. So I think Peru will go for a Rice ban. And just looking off how Netherlands did protect Rice free, I think Rice 2 would be the best ban for Peru, especially as it does follow the more jump stream aspects as well.
See, I just don't know, right? Because last round, both teams on the Rice maps were within around about 6,000 score of each other. That could come down to one miss or even just a few accuracy drops, right? There's not really much to go off here. You can't just say this team is going to perform better in this area and this team is going to perform worse. This is very unpredictable. We do see an LN1 ban. This is, I was actually going to say maybe another LN ban. So yeah, LN1, I guess both teams want to avoid LN this match, but maybe an LN2 pick, I wouldn't be surprised from maybe Peru. But,
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know, to be honest.
Yeah, anything like my predictions for this are pretty cloudy. I think just because of how well balanced both teams are, it can go any way. Like, you're pretty much just going to be playing a sprint with everyone. Well, not even a sprint, a marathon. And it's just going to be whoever gets that late start, gets that bit of fatigue, gets that rush a small bit. And it's going to be who comes out victorious in the finish line at the end. And it looks like Peru is going to be going for their first pick as well.
Rice 7, so protecting the LN3, but not opting to pick into LN. We're going straight into the Rice map pool. And if all things go well for Peru here, then I mean, never mind. I was gonna say maybe Peru gonna pick into more rice, but yet again, because of the way the map pools are, obviously no map is the same. The skill sets are different. Rice 7 is somewhat similar to our Rice 6, Rice 5 maybe, but outside of that kind of area, the other rice maps are nothing like this. So this isn't really gonna be too much of an indication as to how each team can perform on the rice maps as a whole, but maybe the ratio can tell a bit of a story.
This is a very interesting match for Peru to start on. Rice 7, of course, very brutal map, only 1 minute 35 seconds, so you cannot afford to find any breaks. And just the jacks, the polyrhythms, the broken hand stream is just throwing all the tech patterns at you at a fast spurt, pretty much.
This map contains everything, like you said, tech, and the one-hand trills as well. In this map, definitely a open place for players to find these nasty misses, drop a lot of accuracy, and ultimately give a lot of lead over, because in such a short map, one miss can give away maybe 15,000 points, even 20,000 points. Depends on how bad the miss is, how many 50s you find, 200s right after it. A lot can go wrong very quickly in a map like this, and adding on top of that the length of the map, of course, this could be a wild one. But depending on how much these teams have practiced this map, if we see some FCs in this map, if we see 2 triple FCs, which I don't think is unlikely, but the map is, of course, difficult, then this is gonna be within only a couple thousand points of difference.
Well, I guess you'll just have to see how this goes. Again, as you said,
yeah, this is going to be the very first pick of the match, and probably a very important one at that, considering that if Peru don't win this point, then they're giving a break point towards Netherlands very early, and this is a very risky pick, I would say, considering how chokeable this map is. I don't think this map is super stamina intensive, but it definitely has some awkward patterns that if you're not prepared, if you're not ready, then you can easily slip up on. So hopefully all these players are ready for this map and Peru's first pick.
absolutely. And yeah, as you were saying as well, like, it's a map you definitely cannot tunnel vision too much, because looking at this map, like, you definitely have to hold on to combo a lot more compared to accuracy. Like, you might be able to afford a few 200s, especially if you know that the opponents aren't going to be too consistent on a tech pick like this. So heading into the map, going to be starting off with some of those polyrhythms. Everyone holding on very well, but Madaleaf and Dendro just fiving off that.
Yeah, the accuracy is pretty high from all players. Eric did just drop a little bit of accuracy right as I said that, but overall, Peru holding on to 2 99.9s. Netherlands just lost their last one, so now Peru in the driver's seat on the accuracy department already. Like we said, this map is very short, so halfway through the map, still about 40 seconds left to go. Eric the first one to find a miss, actually, and that's going to be a very huge lead given to Netherlands now, considering there's only a third of the map left to go already. If Netherlands don't find another miss, accuracy ain't going to cut it, Chief.
And I think Netherlands actually do have that small bit of a safety cushion. But on a map like Rice 7, finding a miss can be absolutely detrimental. Heading into the back, final AF now, more hands introduced. And that is going to be another miss from Eric. I think that's going to be the binding of this map. There's not much map left, and 13,000 points. Netherlands can afford a miss from one of their players. The 3-0 anchors are still rising in. Some of the hand stream, Madaleaf finding that drop as well, but I don't think there's going to be enough time. Netherlands are going to start off very strong with that break point.
This map, you blink and you miss it, and I mean, Madaleaf finding the miss at the very end. If there was a bit more map to go, there was potential, but those 2 misses from Eric at 2 different places in the map, very unfortunate. Did lose a lot of score as well, losing him about 35,000 maybe, and 2 V1 double S on the side of Peru as well. Ratio looking very strong from this team, and this really makes you wonder, why did they pick Rice 7 first out of all the other Rice maps in this pool? Very early breakpoint to give over to Netherlands. Not too sure if it was their smartest pick.
Yeah, I would agree with you. Also, can I just say Anku actually did get 60 perfects on that pick. Again, while you do have some strong players who are able to get full combos, you just really have to take into your team's consistency as well. And again, they probably wanted to try get that jumpstart at Rice 7, but again, the card did short out. It was a bit cold, so not really going to be taking that advantage. But now with Netherlands, the world's their oyster, as they do have that early on breakpoint, getting that bit of confidence up for themselves. So again, anything is still on the board. While Peru might have the better pure accuracy when it does come to Rice Tech, Netherlands might have that consistency up their alley, and I think maybe Netherlands could go for something like Rice 2, considering their Rice 3 Protect.
Rice 4 is okay. Well, I was gonna say maybe something more technical or whatever, because it didn't seem like Netherlands had the ratio against Peru here, so I want to play into something that's more chokeable, which is exactly what happened on that Rice 7. And if you want to do it on Rice 4, then so be it, but this could be a very risky pick. Yeah, again, I think Peru got a good shot of taking this breakpoint back.
This is actually one of the most interesting starts we had for a match. Just going from probably the most brutal Rice tech pick into Korjak, a double super risky. Netherlands bet on red, won on red, and now they're going for red again. Or they might go for black. On the roulette
go
wheel.
for green, who knows? But Netherlands taking a big gamble on Rice 4, and if Peru can put up that ratio that they had on the Rice 7 into this Rice 4, it's really going to come down to those misses, right? If Peru have a triple FC, I think their odds are quite high of taking this pick, and obviously knowing how close these two teams are in the ratio area, the ratio field, the Rice field, no pun intended, I just think this is super risky. I think any other Rice map could have been less risky than Rice 4. This is going to be the scariest one. And if Netherlands do take this, good pick, right? Good pick. But if they don't, might look a bit silly.
Absolutely. See, I kind of find this pick as well questionable on the Netherlands side. Like, looking at Peru's overall, like, pure Rice accuracy alone, I'm kind of looking on the side of Eric, maybe probably having that potential to get the MVP score after their performance on something like Rice 7. But Netherlands have shown in the past that they are comfortable when it just comes to more of these simple maps, so like a bit more in the Korjak jump stream. Maybe they just kind of want to ride off the more simplicity.
Yeah, potentially so. This match might just come down to who finds those misses first. So far, it's coming out the intro, it doesn't seem like there's any clear advantage. Oh, Lolito actually the first one to find that miss, and this is what we were talking about. First one to find that miss can give it away, and if Peru are going to be the more inconsistent team in this match, then that might just be their demise. Netherlands now a very large early lead given towards them. I think because the Race 4 is going to be much easier to find that accuracy and ratio on, as long as they can hold on to that triple FC, I don't think there is enough time for even accuracy to make much of a difference here, considering how easy it is to act.
Anku still on the 100%, still on a V2SS, and a leaf, finding that drop back, but traded back by Eric. Anku is just holding on trying to hold on the most with that V2SS at this point, still holding on. What is that? But now, as we do get into the back half of the map, that finger coordination is going to be taking more of an aspect. Those anchors are just riling up a lot more, and get the density. Again, it still kind of takes that small climax, but more of a sharp way. Looking at all the players, Toxic Scent holding the MVP on Netherlands right now at that 99.95. Eric finding that drop, as I say, kind of finding a small bit of an early rush as well, giving Netherlands that nice safety net. And heading into the final quarter, getting that another break again. Angu, what are you doing? Still holding on to that 100%. This has to be single digit for your undercount. Like, there's no other way.
I think Anku is still on. Oh, never mind. Okay, I think he was still on the V2SS. Does drop a singular 300, but despite his performance, it does seem like Peru are still going to lose the point, taking into account those ugly misses from Eric and Lolito. Anku back up to 100% accuracy on the LN and still loses the point by 17,500. But it really came down to those misses there. 3 misses from Peru, 2 from Netherlands, but only from 1 player, and Anku with 7 300s, really asserting himself as the core jack player on the Peruvian side. But this match, yeah, again, as seen in the race 7, came down to those misses from Peru, and if Peru are going to keep finding these misses, these inconsistent drops, then Netherlands are going to start taking this away.
Yeah, I think Netherlands definitely have that consistency, and if they can keep it up, they can probably chip away at Peru. And just looking overall, very nice team scores. Of course, as you said, you cannot forget Anku. 7 perfects. Just absolute insane performance. I do believe that is actually the #1 score as well, if I remember correctly.
The statistics sheet will tell with time. But now Peru, this is their next pick, and if they lose this next pick of theirs, things are not going to be looking too good. They need to win this pick, and hopefully thereafter take a breakpoint from Netherlands, which if Netherlands keep picking into Rice, Peru definitely got a shot to take it back. But like I said, this combo is not helping them here. It's a consistency game at this point. The accuracy isn't going to be playing too much into your score if you're finding these misses. But Peru trying something different now. LN2, and I think this is a good pick from Peru. I really like this pick. I think this is probably their best bet, considering how they're not getting the combo quite in there in the Rice department. Why not try the LN?
I think this is a very strong pick from Peru, as you said. I think, especially after Netherlands banning LN4, which is kind of going to be more the dumpy LN pick, I think it does a bit make sense for Peru to, you know, jump into the other dense LN pick. So, UEs does need no explanation when it comes to LN density. And I think all these players are really capable, but I think Peru might have that advantage after seeing Netherlands maybe slight weakness on more dense LN picks. So we are at 210 BPM, but do not underestimate the density. It gets very heavy when we do get into the back half.
Don't underestimate the density whatsoever. Netherlands actually did get quite a low seed on the LN2 last week. Peru not having played it in their match, but maybe just taking advantage of that, knowing Netherlands' weakness on this style of map, jump stream LN. Now this map is 2.5 minutes long, so this is probably about the average map length in this pool. So it's not a blankety biscuit kind of map, but there's still plenty of time for things to go wrong for either team if you're not careful. And because of the way this map plays as well, one miss you could find yourself in a pretty nasty column lock. So being careful is also a very important factor.
Yeah, consistency definitely is key, especially for like density, stamina-oriented picks. Looks like Shoira is going to be making their debut into Netherlands, going to be making their debut, and you'll have to see Sophie getting that small late start, finding I do believe a 200 near the intro, but again, this is the intro, so scores will swindle a small bit when we do get into our first main Ki.
This is only the intro, and just based on intro alone, the ratio, the accuracy between all these players still very, very close. Sophie does find a few, actually drops in Dendro. The first miss to be found from Peru. But Madalife trades it back now. Okay, the score is going to be, should be balanced between these two teams. Shoira finding another miss on the Netherlands side. 2 misses, very not clean whatsoever in Peru now, with the slight minor advantage, with still over half the map left to go. Still more time for Peru to find more misses, and we have seen it happen in these other picks before. But LN, nothing like the Rice.
9,000 is still a feasible area for a comeback on the side of Netherlands. But still looking at the accuracy, Toxic Scent finding a pretty detrimental miss going down to that 99.4. But it's really that double 99.6 from Peru that's really helping them. And after that free no column section, right before the break, Madali finds a drop. That is not where you want to find something like that. And especially when you are looking at 3 very high combos over the side of Peru. Like, even then, consistency. Like, looking at Netherlands, just not really able to keep up with their combo a small bit. But then, on the side of Netherlands, still 2 full combos. And heading into the last key, where the density does take that climax. Lalito and Dendro still holding on to that full combo and getting onto that 9.7 range. Madali finding that drop as well. Heading into the final quarter where the walls and anchors are going to be starting to rain on you.
Yeah, Sophie finding another miss with Metalife just keeps trading them back every single time the Peru finds a miss. And 23,000 points coming into the outro. This section is very jump streamy. Shora with another miss, and there's just not enough time for any comeback to happen. Peru are going to take their first point on the board, albeit maybe not the cleanest. We see a lot of misses come out from both teams, but Lalito actually going to be the only FC in this lobby. 11 200s. Denjo with only 5 as well, just the unfortunate 3 misses. In Peru, this is what we said, right? LN2, maybe their best pick here, knowing Netherlands maybe aren't so great on the LN maps, and I think it's a very good segue into the LN3 for Peru to pick next. Netherlands now, though, they might opt for probably another Rice map, maybe a Rice 5 or Rice 6, I wouldn't be surprised to see.
I think just after looking at the LN performance, I think it starts to slowly mold itself into more of a Rice versus LN. Though I think Peru does have a lot more tools in the shed when it does come to who you're able to swap in, swap out. A bit more flexible when it comes to Rice LN hybrid. Netherlands, though, a bit weaker on the LN, especially when it does come to that 200 count and some of the consistency. So I don't really think they'd want to fret on Peru's waters and stay over in the Rice area. But now with their pick, they'll 100% jump into Rice. And they're going to be jumping into their Protect, so going to be Rice free, going to be the stamina pick. And I think this is going to be one of Netherlands' best picks.
Yeah, again though, if it comes down to ratio, then Peru, I still think I've got another shot. Like I said, I think Netherlands just kind of need to exploit Peru's inconsistency issues that maybe they're having right now. Really struggling to get that team FC, whereas Netherlands aren't finding very good miscount. So Rice 3, stamina, I think it could work if Peru starts to run out of stamina a little bit and find those misses. But it really comes down to how Netherlands are feeling in a map like this. If they know they can get good combos, low miscount, this can definitely be a good pick. I can see it going either way here. But I could say the same for any map in this Rice pool, to be honest. Peru, I think, have the advantage in LN, but when it comes to Rice, Netherlands, I think, have the slightest of leads.
Absolutely. And that's probably why I think the rest of the match is going to probably focus more on the Rice versus LN, as I was saying. But yeah, consistency definitely is key for this. It is, I would say, a pretty self-explanatory map. Got your jump stream, hand stream, some one-hand trills, but I think that where the main difficulty is going to arise is when you get halfway in the map, where, you know, it starts to get a lot roll heavy, so there's a lot of aspects you have to take in for this. And again, as you were saying, Peru still has a chance to take this breakpoint, just looking at their pure Rice accuracy as well. So, as you were saying, this could go any way, but I think this map does favour Netherlands.
I think it very well could favour Netherlands if they can get that triple Team FC, but if Peru match that triple Team FC, I think it would just go to them based on ratio alone. But only time will tell whether or not we see any V1 double S's. Yet to be seen. I'm looking forward to seeing how these players fare on a map like this. 3.5 minutes of straight jump stream, hand stream, 240 BPM. And really not much to be said at this intro. This intro was very easy, very straightforward. Just a slight LN before you get straight into where the map actually begins.
And here
And
we
here
go.
we go. Jinx.
Oh man, now I can't speak it.
Peru, slight accuracy lead coming out the intro, but only a few 300s of difference. Netherlands not really seeing any major drops. This is all in the back of Dendro here, 99.98% already. Still holding on, gonna stay at it for as long as he can. But looking really comfortable for all players in this lobby so far. Nothing really stands out.
Yeah, just looking at all these players heading out of the first area of the map, still only by a 3-digit score difference. It is probably more to be expected to swing back and forth, but I think if someone does find a flurry at 200s, it will go to either way. Just looking at the start, Dendro 99.98 and nearly a 6-way 99.9. But here we are jumping into the first Ki, and things will take a small bit of a turn, slightly going towards Peru. But anything can still happen. Some more of those jumps, some more of those anchors, hands, everything being jumped in as well. Anku actually taking a small accuracy drop down to that 99.86, but the difficulty of the map is still yet to come.
Yeah, when the score lead is so close like this, you can see exactly what a single 200 can do to that score lead. Just coming out of the first half of the map now, still Peru have got only a couple 100 points lead by the looks of it. Lead is not changing whatsoever. 1-200, as seen before, can shift it back to Netherlands. And I don't doubt that it will happen. Peru, I think, are only ahead by maybe 0.0 something percent, but Madalife actually going to be the first one to find the miss. Now Netherlands giving much more score away towards Peru here. Now Peru, if they can hold on to that combo for as long as they can, 10,000 point lead into the last quarter of the map. One more hard section to go. Can these players stamina for the rest of the map? We'll have to see. 10,000 point lead. Can they maintain it? Here we go, the last section of the map, the final Ki. 11,000 points. It's not shifting whatsoever. It's actually slightly going up towards Peru here. Madalife with yet another miss, and that might just seal it if Peru hold on. Accuracy ain't gonna cut it anymore.
Yeah, just looking at it, I think Peru definitely have that safety net, but anything can still happen, and especially as the map is truly as this. Some anchors as well being shown in. Anchor actually climbing back up to that 99.91. Insane team performance over by the side of Peru. But as we do get to the outro, I think Peru's done it. If they don't falter anything, Madeline's still finding drops, and as you were saying that, I think that's just going to seal it. Yeah, just not really being able to keep up with the end. They maybe faltered a small bit of stamina near the end, but Peru have done it. They have equalized back the lead with a break point. And look at that team performance.
This is exactly what we were talking about. Peru have the definite advantage in the accuracy department, but it's whether or not they can find those combos, in which case they did in this map. Triple Team FC from Peru, whereas Netherlands had one player with those misses. I'm surprised to see 50s come out from Anku and Toxic Scent as well without any misses. Must have just tapped too early or too late on a single no, but ultimately didn't change the score too much. Really came down to those misses here. And Peru, like you said, taking that breakpoint back, evening out the score, and now it's Netherlands' pick again. No, it's not. It's Peru's pick. And can they up their lead 3-2? I'm expecting an LN3 here.
I would probably expect LN3 as well. Or just how LN2 went as well. Maybe something like Hybrid 1 would also suffice Peru. But I think maybe Hybrid should go after LN. Gotta start with your starters and then go into the main course.
I just think Race 3 was a very risky pick for Netherlands, and it didn't pay off, and Hybrid 1 is going to be the pick coming up from Peru. Kind of not surprised. Their score last week was very good, Peru, so assuming it's going to be roughly the same patterning as we saw last week, this is a very good pick, and they still got LN3 in the bag as well if they want to come back to that later. But Netherlands, they just need to accept that they lost that last pick, move on, try to get another breakpoint. Don't give too many away. The Hybrid 1 is going to be the one that's chosen, and whether or not Netherlands can take it, I'm not too sure. I think this is another good pick from Peru didn't really have a very good first pick on the Rice 7, but they figured it out. They now know, okay, we gotta start playing to LN. Netherlands, they've got a bit of consistency going on that we just might be lacking a little bit in the Rice department as of right now, so let's exploit our weakness. Play the LNs.
Exactly. And looks like Shura is going to be making their way back into Netherlands. I'd presume that is going to be the lineup for Netherlands when it does come to hybrid. And actually for Peru, we're not going to be seeing, I do believe, Sophie for their side. So I do believe, is it Dendro making their way into the hybrid picks?
This is the hybrid one, 1 minute 42 seconds long. On the shorter side of things, does have quite a bit of an intro, but it picks up pretty fast. We will find the first miss.
Exactly. You do not really want to miss on a map like this, especially just because of the length being 1 minute 42. It would be absolutely detrimental for any of these players to find a miss. And it still throws everything in at you. Just a lot of jacks, rolls, shields as well. Gonna be pretty much a hybrid inside of a hybrid. And coming off the intro, Shoira down to that 99.4, kind of a bit behind the pack alongside Polygon. Maybe it just might not be too comfortable with a pick like this, which I think that's what Peru exactly wanted.
You would assume so. Peru now 11,000 point lead. When we look at the accuracies from both teams here, Toxic Sen is the only person to match Peru, Anku, and Dendro, but Dendro actually going to find a miss there, and that might help to even up the score a little bit, but saying that the score is not shifting whatsoever, Peru are just so dominant in accuracy at the moment. Shoira did also find a miss at the exact same place. So that would also be a factor into that, but the combos is like 2 FCs per team. But the accuracy difference is still in Peru's favor by quite a sizable amount. Now there is one section left to go. If Peru finds another miss, there is still a chance for Netherlands to take it, but Peru looking so confident on this. Seems very unlikely.
Alright, heading into the fun drop. Gonna be taking some of that format when we have seen with the first drop. But we saw that density spike. The rolls are still coming in. Polygon actually climbed their accuracy up a small bit back, but I don't think there's going to be enough time for Netherlands to make a comeback. It is going to be Peru going to be taking this point away. Going to be taking another very comfy pick, and 12k point lead, pretty sizable, and just looking off it, very good scores from everyone. Toxic Sen getting the MVP, really good score at that 991.
Yeah, all players comboing past the middle section of the map. 4 FCs, 2 essentially 1 misses, Dendro and Shoira. But overall, Peru, again, the accuracy is just in their favor. The ratio is pretty close between all these players, but the 200 count is much better for Peru, proving why LN might just be in Peru's wheelhouse here. But Netherlands to pick now, and I still think Rice 5 or Rice 6 might be optimal choices for Netherlands here. And Peru have still got LN3 in the bag, but I don't know how the hybrids are going to go, because Hybrid 1 seems to be Peru's most comfortable pick, I would say.
Yeah, I think Peru definitely have to stay more towards them. Well, I think Peru are a bit more flexible. Again, after how Rice 3 went, I can see Peru maybe jumping into Rice 2 after the hybrids are exhausted. Even then, maybe just jumping into Rice 2 before all the hybrids are exhausted. But they're still at 3. But now, Netherlands are going to jump into Rice 6, as you were saying, that they do want to kind of go more into the technical area. And this is exactly what they're going to go into. Going to be our dump pick Rice 6. And going to be... And if you know Ska, then this is going to be the dump of all time.
No explanation is needed if you're aware of Ska's mapping. This map, 3 minutes long, of straight, very difficult, dumpy, even shrilly patterns, and at this kind of level, where we're now 6 maps into the match, the nerves, the tension must be high between these two teams. Misses may be more prone to happen now than ever. But at the same time, same thing could be said, that you could be using that to your advantage, maybe playing better under pressure. But it's whether or not these players can cope with that.
Well, normally some players do deal pressure a lot more than some of the players. And I don't really know what nerves do favor technically when it does come to either team. I think when it does come to that aspect, I think maybe Peru might be a bit more comfortable when it does come to more higher nerve management, because Sun and Netherlands definitely has been a bit more combo breaks on the side of Polygon and Madeleine. So I think Netherlands just might have to control those nerves a small bit more.
And those nerves might prove crucial into their misses if they find any. Netherlands, we have seen them be just a tad bit more consistent on these types of maps, but with most of them now out the way, they're going to need to be more consistent than ever. Just because we think that maybe Rice 6, Rice 5 are their most comfortable picks doesn't mean that they're going to be taking it by a large margin or easily in that Masters. So Netherlands still definitely to try their hardest to take this point, tie out the score 3-3, and keep it as close as possible. Don't give the lead away, especially this late into the match already. One break point can end it at this point, can give very large lead towards Peru. Get the ball rolling.
Absolutely, especially already giving away one breakpoint. You do not really want to give another, especially that the maps are kind of running out for Netherlands. Peru definitely has advantage when it does come to more the hybrids, the LN, and even some of the Rices, as we have seen previously as well.
So many chokes definitely prone to happen between these two teams, but it's whether or not they find them right here, right now, in our Rice 6. Eureka, 3 minutes long, OD8, and I have to mention again the star rating in Osumania does not make much sense.
As of every mode.
Very, very difficult 4-star. How fitting.
As of every mode. But yeah, Dump definitely being a lot more underrated when it does come to that. So, intro kind of kicks in a small bit, kind of gradually increases difficulty over time. But as we do start off, it's going to be kind of introducing you to some more that light tech, some of those trills, some of those mid jacks, and some of those jump streams. It is pretty abrasive when it does come to the fingers, but when we do get later into the map, definitely gets a lot more awkward.
The accuracy is still staying so close between these two teams. Lito is actually the lowest in the lobby, sitting at 99.7. They find a very early drop. This is where the map really starts now. Very speedy sections, very speedy bursts, but all players manage to get through it pretty chill, pretty casually, and there's no obvious lead towards any side here. We have two players from Peru still holding above 99.9. No one from Netherlands above that threshold, but Lolito is below 99.8, whereas Netherlands have all three players above that, so kind of making up for each other here.
And now the map truly starts. Everyone getting out of there unscathed, and as we do get from the halfway point now, we'll have to see how all these players manage jumping straight back into things. Going to be seeing a lot more of that flowy jump stream, even free no and some slow anchors as well. Madeleine finding that early drop, which is going to only swing the lead over towards Peru. It was more of a decently clean drop, but misses are not really what you want, especially when you aren't into Kia yet.
I think Peru can definitely find a miss in the second half of the map, so all is not over for Netherlands here. They just need to hold on to what combo they have. They're not out of it just yet. Score lead sitting at 8,000, which is roughly about one miss. Here we go. Peru still holding on very strong, but the combo is what's going to be really important here.
Score lead just gradually going over. Madeleine finding a drop. Toxic Scent and Polygon also below that 99.8 range. Madeleine falling under that 99.6, just struggling to keep up with this final section as the rolls just keep coming in. And again, the stamina also has to take aspect, as we have seen with Madeleine struggling in with Rice Free as well. because this is just non-stop until the end. The rolls just coming in. Denjo and Anku just eating it all up with that 99.9. Lalito not too far behind. Still a 5-way full combo, but those accuracy drops have shown wear on the Netherlands. And as we do get to the outro where things do close off, it is safe to say that Peru are going to be taking this breakpoint, and a very important breakpoint on their side as well.
What happened to Peru? I mean, the performance we saw in the first 2 Rice maps that were picked was nothing like this map right here. In Peru actually going to take the breakpoint on the Rice 6, the map that we initially thought would favor the Netherlands, but across Peru's entire team, only one singular 200.
Very impressive team score over by Peru, and actually not too far behind with Netherlands as well. Anku and Denjo are getting that V1SS, Lalito with that 1-200, nearly that freeway V1SS on the side of Peru. Very close as well to the side of Netherlands, but again, it's just not really going to be enough when you're facing on accuracy powerhouses like Peru. But now, they have their potential last pick for victory if they do win this next pick. That is, if they do win both their next picks. So, they might be planning to close it out on something like LN3. They're going to be going for it. It is going to be Planet Shaper.
This pick, very important for Peru if they want to win the match as soon as possible, of course. Guarantee themselves that match point, guarantee themselves a tiebreaker at worst. But Netherlands, they're now down that break point. They need to take it back, and this might be their only chance to do so. If they lose this pick, Peru looking very strong on every single category. Did find a very rough start in the Rice, but I've seemed to pick up. I've seemed to warm up enough so that they can grasp a very sizable lead over Netherlands on their own picks. But LN3, this is a must-win point, I feel.
Absolutely. I feel like this does, of course, as well take advantage to Peru, especially as we have seen how Hybrid 1 has played out as well. So, LN3 does make a bit more sense. Again, still having a lot of those shields, so those 1/3 persons as well. Some of that density, pretty much everything. And I do believe not at 3 minutes 4 seconds. I think it is a bit shorter because this is the cut version.
LN3. You know, this map, I think Peru should be able to take this quite safely, considering their LN2 performance as well. But it's just the picks after this. I mean, Hybrid 1 was also very dominant, but Hybrid 1 is nothing like the Hybrid 2 or 3. I think it gets a bit risky after the LN3 is played. I mean, even the Race 6, Peru did win with a sizable lead, but it only came down to Netherlands just having one player finding those unlucky misses towards the end of that map. And if Netherlands can just lock in, maybe even on the Race 5, then they're back in this game, and I can definitely see them taking a breakpoint back.
Netherlands, I still think, as you were saying, I don't think they're out of the fight at all. Like, all 3 players on Netherlands are still putting up that insane fight and keeping up with pace with Peru. But again, it's just really those nerves that have to calm down. And maybe some of those less breaks from Madaleaf as well. Like, Toxic Scent and Polygon's consistency is also really strong. But we'll just have to see when we get into this map. This is a pretty tricky map to keep your combo on as well. Again, Ellen Tech, frozen a lot of stuff.
Indeed it does, and Netherlands, this is going to be another case of how long can he hold on to that combo. At the very start of the match, it seemed to be Peru hold on for as long as he can, but the tables have turned. Now Netherlands just need that combo, and already, I mean, they've already got the accuracy lead, just probably the very first section in this map. But not going to mean anything when Madalife finds a miss. But shouldn't be too detrimental, it is still very early days. Was below that 400 combo cap when they found that first miss. But still not a lead you want to be giving away this early.
And here we go, the shield's gonna start to rile in a small bit. Actually goes towards Peru, that double 99.5 at the start, and of course that combo advantage. So here we are, heading into the first drop, gonna be throwing a lot more of those technical LN bursts at you, a lot of those scatters, shields, so that mini jump stream as well with those LN drills. A lot to keep track of in this map, but really, it just comes down to that muscle memory as well of playing. So, kind of looking at it, Dendron climbing back up to that 99.6. Eric finding that drop though, which is going to be swinging things over towards Netherlands again. Especially finding that double drop as well, which is not going to be helping them. But Toxic Sen actually finding the first drop, I do believe, for this match. So, going to be turning back over towards the side of Peru. And, oh my god.
We're seeing misses left, right, and center from all these players here. Madalife now actually the only person with combo in this lobby. Netherlands with 6,000 point lead. Coming off that section, but there is some more to go. Only halfway through the map. Minute and a half to go, but this is probably the biggest lead that we've seen Netherlands have. On Peru's pick, on an LN map, after looking so dominant on the LN2 and Hybrid 1. Now, only now, looking to be showing themselves as human after all. But Madalife finally loses that 2,000 combo. Toxic, oh, but so, okay. I don't know if those are actual misses, or if that was Klein. I'm gonna assume they're actual misses, and Netherlands have just taken it away. With 17,000 score lead coming out the outro. And that just all happened within, like, a half a second of each other. Everyone missing on the same section. I think, okay, it was Klein. It was Klein. So 8,000 points. It stayed right about the same coming out of it. But Netherlands actually still in the game now, taking back their breakpoint. And it's going to be their pick next as well. They have the chance, once again, to even out the score 4-4. This is not what I was expecting. I was expecting Peru to take this point and then the next few maps to be as close as it gets, really. But Netherlands to take back their breakpoint so soon. Things have just got interesting.
Free breakpoints are something that you just do not see in a map a lot. And even then, like, the PAs are mostly similar between 5 of the players. Dendron being that small outlier, holding on to that 8-200 count. Very impressive score by them as well. But Netherlands, again, their exciting consistency is showing, putting in that underdog status when it comes to the LN and just taking a point off Peru's territory. And I think this is a comeback story for Netherlands. Hybrid is more of a riskier category for the side of Peru. And when you go into Rise as well, I think Netherlands can take a few points off that side as well too. But actually, they're going to Hybrid 2 actually.
I think Hybrid 2 is a good pick. Honestly, I do. After that performance in the LN3, knowing that playing maybe these LN focus maps are more winnable, even knowing how well he did in the Hybrid 1. Hybrid 2 is not Hybrid 1. Hybrid 2 has much more varying patterns, right? And Netherlands, I think now they've understood that, okay, we've played the Rice maps that we can play, right? The other Rice maps are way too much of a gamble. Let's just keep the ball rolling after winning LN3, go into the Hybrid 2, and just take this point, right? And like you said, 4 breakpoints in this match. There has been 4 so far. This is not something you see very often. So we thought at first that Peru were going to play into LN, Netherlands going to play into Rice, but that story has changed entirely. Now we're just picking what we were feeling is good in the moment.
And now here we are. As you were saying as well, just picking in a moment. Netherlands, I think they'll be able to capitalize on this pick as well. And what a map to pick it on. It is one of our more uniquely snapped hybrids, I do believe. Well, uniquely mapped hybrids. Pretty long, of course, at 3 minutes and 5 seconds, so consistency also is a big factor along that stamina. And it throws everything. Shields, mini jacks, rolls, even coordination as well. I feel like maybe the LN release areas might give Peru that small advantage, but in no doubt in my mind, is this going to be a pick for is this a pick that gives advantage to Netherlands as well?
Yeah, and especially on the back of winning that LN3, I think even if Netherlands lose this point, they can still rest easy knowing that Peru still haven't won the game. There's no more LNs, only one more hybrid, and the race has been so close. So even if they do give away this breakpoint, once again, this would be the 5th breakpoint, then I still think this is definitely winnable for Netherlands. So if they do take this point, that would be a very good start into attempting to actually win the match, but they need to, of course, get it first. Obviously, Peru only need 2 more points for that to happen. So Netherlands actually on the back foot. Madalife and Polygon find the first misses of the match, but in a 3-minute map, missing so early shouldn't be too much, but really not a place you want to be missing. We've seen that already like 2 or 3 times.
Yeah, absolutely. And even then, accuracy does have to have a bit of work on the side of Madaleaf and slightly on Polygon's side, but slowly but surely they will be climbing up. Hopefully they will keep their consistency not to find too many more accuracy drops. But here we are, the first drop coming in. You can already see the amount of mini jacks, shields, reverse shields as well. Again, everyone's still holding on very well. That very impressive team score on the side of Peru. Polygon and Madaleaf finding their accuracy back up, and as I said, that Madaleaf does find another drop. Now that we're in the Ki, the drops are going to matter a small bit more. But again, Netherlands can still get that comeback on them, especially that Lalito did find a drop, and a pretty nasty one at that. So maybe Netherlands might be able to make this comeback, but they will probably have to rely on the falters of Peru.
Yeah, the lead is not going to shift all that much from Lalito's miss there. But there is still about half a map left to go, so still plenty more time for misses to happen, but Netherlands really just need to work on that combo for as long as possible. Toxic Scent trying their best, tying the highest accuracy in the lobby right now, but when you have 2 players on Peru that are also matching that, there isn't really much you can do in the accuracy side of things. You just need to hope that Peru find these misses. But the score lead is just standing still. It's not moving whatsoever. Polygon with another miss. This is on that lung note.
And we're going to be getting more into the aspects. Polygon trading back with Dendro, but still that 18,000 point lead on the side of Peru. That trade isn't really going to be meaning much, but we do get into the last half now. We're seeing a lot more of that coordination aspect with some of the density along with it. So this might be able... So for Peru, I think they might be fine in this section. But again, consistency can still falter, and that's what Polygon is going to be unfortunately messing up at right before the drop. Toxic Scent finding a break. No more full combos on the side of Netherlands. The score gap is only increasing with Madaleaf only holding on to that plus 400 combo. And still, Peru just taking not much accuracy drops along this entire map. The coordination is still riling up. They're just thriving off that. And now with the outro, small bit more coordination and some more of those reverse shields as well as we do get into the ending of the map. And Peru have managed to snag the 5th breakpoint of this map.
I'm really surprised that Netherlands didn't play so well after coming out with the LN3 on such a strong performance. Now it will cost them that breakpoint that they just managed to get back, so now Peru up 5-3. But it's whether or not Peru have many maps left to go. I mean, they've still got the Hybrid 3 to go for, but do they pick it is the question.
That might be the best question, because I think after the performance of Hybrid 2, I think maybe something, I think Hybrid 3 might also be a small bit of a viable option, but they're actually going for Rise 2, I do believe, asking if it's banned, so I think definitely after something like Rise 3, it does make sense, but I think Rise 2 is also a bit risky.
Yeah, I think from Peru, I wouldn't have been surprised to see maybe a Rice 1, just knowing how the Rice 6 went for Peru, but Rice 2 it is. Maybe want to play something a bit more on the consistency side of things. Netherlands though, and this is what I was saying, I think It's a very winnable pick for Netherlands. This is probably a pick maybe you're hoping that Peru would choose. And there isn't many maps to be chosen left after this, so Netherlands do take this breakpoint back. Even though it is their own pick, there isn't much to choose from, so things still aren't over, but tiebreaker's still on the board here.
I think Shoira is going to be coming in for Netherlands, but I don't think Rise 2 is going to be exactly the worst pick. Of course, I think if Netherlands do manage to take this for their final pick, I was probably going to guess something like Rise 5. So going to be the final tech pick, I do believe, that has not been picked yet. So there is that option for Netherlands as their plan if they do take this pick. But for that, I'm not really too sure on who's going to take this. With a 12 BPM increase compared to Rise 3, it's really going to also come down to who's comfortable with acting that 252 BPM. If Peru can't, then they can try for that pure accuracy alone. But if Netherlands are just able to keep up with that physicality more than Peru, then I think this is going to be a pretty feasible breakpoint that Netherlands can take as well.
Yeah, and just overall, I do believe Peru just has that slight accuracy advantage over Netherlands, but throughout this entire match, it has been pretty inconsistent as to choosing or even predicting which team is going to find more misses than the other, and it seems like there's not really any team here that is just missing a lot more. Whenever we think that Peru is more consistent, they end up missing, and the same goes to Netherlands, so it really comes down to the map itself, and Rise 2 will be that map. Netherlands, I think they're really, really going to need to try for a triple FC on this map for any chance of taking this point from Peru.
I'm not really too sure if Netherlands have played the Rise 2 from last week. It does share a lot of similarities with still all scared Norwegian boards. Again, still a bit more focused on jump stream, hand stream. Also does have those anchors as well, and those trills. Especially when you do get into the Ki, we will see this map show its true colors.
Peru, by the way, has played this map last week, but instead they opted for a different roster where Sophie came in. Oh wait, they went for like an entirely new roster here apparently, so I'm not too sure. We're just changing things up, I suppose, but looking like it's paying dividends. 2,000 point lead from Peru. That's only slight accuracy right there, so Netherlands still need to hold on to that combo. There is definitely room for error on the Peru side.
Yep, especially just getting into the halfway point, getting into that small break. Again, with the point lead of only 2,000. Anyone can still find a drop, and if it is on the side of Peru, then Netherlands will just be able to swindle that over towards them. Again, it is still too close to comfort. Will the consistency side or the pure accuracy side win? As did you get into our second Ki, gonna be throwing in a lot more of those trills as well. And I think a few too punches were dropped by Shoira at that section, which is only gonna be increasing the lead for Peru. But anything can still happen, of course. Gonna be introduced to more split frills heading into the final third of the map as well.
Accuracy is just slowly going up. The score is slowly going up. Peru working their way up to 6,000 point lead here into the last quarter. That Polygon gonna be the first person to find a miss in this lobby with just under a quarter map left to go. Unless Peru find a miss in the outro, things not looking too good. Netherlands need to hold on for as long as they can. If Peru hold on to their combos, they will take this point away, but it's whether or not they are capable of doing it. Is their stamina okay? Do they find a choke? There is still time, but if it's gonna happen, it needs to happen now. But Shoira finding another miss, and that is gonna be the nail in the coffin. Peru take it away with the triple FC 18,000 point lead on the back of Netherlands finding two unfortunate misses. Peru is going to be your winner for this match, taking it 6-3, but it definitely did not feel that way at times. Felt a lot closer. The score difference between some of these points was really not much whatsoever. Each pick was unpredictable, both teams playing phenomenally well. And Peru just showing a little bit more consistency and accuracy in today's match.
absolute amazing performance by both teams. Also, at the very end, I do believe Dendro getting that 60 perfect on that Rice 2. But just looking after that performance, it might have been 6-3, but it was a hell of a close of a 6-3. And both teams should be proud of their performance of today. But unfortunately, only one team can advance. And it looks like Peru will be getting that final knockout on Netherlands. So that is going to be Peru taking their way into the second match of the quarterfinals, I do believe, for tomorrow, going to be in the conditionals. As for Netherlands, they will be out for this Mania World Cup, as they might be making their debut, well, not debut, as they might be making their way into next year's Generals next year. And I'm very excited to see how they will perform in the next year if they do.
Yeah, and that's going to be it for this match. But stay tuned. This is the last match of this block for Saturday, depending on your time zone, of course. But there is still another match going to happen 5 hours from now. There is on screen China versus Canada. Stay tuned for that. And then shortly after, USA versus Vietnam. Two, hopefully, banger matches. Hong Kong versus UK will be the last match streamed before the showcase. So make sure you stay tuned for that. But unless there's anything else to be said, Nightcore, maybe, just maybe.
As I awaken, I think I was gonna get food for $2.50, but in this economy, well, there's nowhere you can get food really. But you know what? You can get for the simple price of $2.50. Osu Mania 4-Key World Cup 2025 country banners. That's right. For that very small price of €2.50, or $2.50, you can support your favorite team playing in this tournament, and you will be able to snazz out your profile, and you can buy as many as you want. So if you want to get every team, if you want to get 32 of one team, we have seen some crazy combinations, and you will put more of that pizzazz on your profile to impress all your friends. So what are you waiting for? Just go on the Osu store, or just go on Twitch chat, type !banners, and you will be brought to the store. Looking forward to see everyone with their very pizzazz combination of banners. And they do last until the end of the year, I do believe, as well, or until the next World Cup.
And yeah, that's going to be, I agree with everything Nightcore said. But stay tuned, 5 hours from now, China versus Canada. We will see you then.